gun. He even woke up with this gun. Even to church, he went with this gun in case there was an attack by my people.
This one!
The women of Waziwazi were afraid of this big gun around the waist of Officer Sam. It could harm them. This was a problem for Officer Sam. No woman could dare approach him. Officer Sam was lonely.
Lonely! I'm so lonely!
One day, everything changed. A beautiful lady happened. By her beauty, many speculated she was from another planet. She was created to be created. Yani,
Aliumbwa akaumbika.
from head to toe, she was perfect. Her hair, her eyes, her lips, her shoulders, her... I know what you are thinking. You are right. She was the real deal. A GMO. Everyone stared as this amazing beauty made her way towards him. She swayed this way and that way. Everyone was staring. I know what you are thinking they were staring at. You are wrong. They were looking at a woman walking towards Officer Sam. Everyone stared as she swayed this way and that way. This had never happened before. This woman did not fear big guns. She got to where he was, and in a nice, seductive voice, she said,
Hi!
Officer Sam nearly fired his gun. He quickly recovered, and in a deep Malay voice, he replied,
Hi!
The lady introduced herself as Della, short for Delilah, and Officer Sam introduced himself as Officer Sam, short for... Della needed Officer Sam's help. She had just moved into town and wanted the fine officer to help her find a house. Officer Sam was very confused after being qualified. He duly accepted and took Della around until they found a nice bed-sitter for her to rent. In order to thank the fine officer, Della invited the very fine officer for lunch the next day. Being a bachelor, like many of us here, Officer Sam could not turn down free food. The next day, he was at her door punctually at lunchtime. The woman could cook, I tell you. In order to play it people thought it had been eaten by mistake. When a goat was stolen, people thought it had been eaten by mistake. When a cow was stolen, people thought it had been roasted by mistake. When a donkey was stolen, people thought it had been confused for a cow and roasted by mistake. But when a wife was stolen, there could be compromise. The people went to report to Officer Sam about these crimes. Officer Sam was quick to respond, but before he could act, Della stopped him and told him the wedding was more important. Since the wedding was only 7 days away, Officer Sam told the people that he would look into the rising crime soon. More chicken and goats were stolen, cows were mistakenly roasted, donkeys were mistaken for cows and mistakenly roasted, and more men confused other men's wives to be their wives. During the time Officer Sam and Della were dating, Officer Sam had never taken his gun off for Della. She had pleaded with him. She even cried, but Officer Sam was adamant. On the night before the wedding, Della invited Officer Sam for one last meal. And this time, she prepared his favorite, a full chicken, served with a smaller chicken, with chicken soup, and a mountain of ugali. Officer Sam ate bila ayub. Once he had filled all his stomach, Officer Sam fell into a deep sleep. Della finally got her opportunity and slowly took off the gun. Deep into the night, Officer Sam was woken by women screaming. He quickly rushed out and found a gang of thieves robbing the town of Waziwazi. He quickly reached for his gun to stop the gun. To his shock, his gun was not where it had always been. He searched for it all over his body, but he could not find it. Suddenly, he heard a laugh. It was Della, leading the gun, holding the gun. She had taken his gun and was now controlling the gun, who were loading items into a big lorry. Officer Sam was helpless without his gun. His gun was the only gun in the town. They had never needed two guns. The gun had an easy time, since there were no locks on all the doors. Even the church was robbed. The old men were angry. The young men wanted to beat Officer Sam. The old women wanted Officer Sam locked up, while the young women were confused. Some were angry, while others wanted to cuddle Officer Sam now that he had no big gun. The humiliation was too much for Officer Sam to bear. One morning, the people woke up and Officer Sam was gone. They waited 1 day, 1 week, 1 month, but Officer Sam was already gone. In time, the people began realizing their harsh treatment for Officer Sam. They realized that security cannot be the responsibility of one man in the town. It had to be the responsibility of all of them. And therefore, they placed locks on all their doors. Some even locked their wives. To this day, the people of Waziwazi are now more vigilant. They look at an intruder with suspicious eyes. Everyone looks out for everyone. And to this day, they still tell their children of the story of